people, how you doing? I hope you're having a damn great day. Welcome back to the channel, and I have got a FIFA off to a fantastic start, an EA FC 24 career mode challenge, a what if scenario. Now, of course, we do know that Enzo Maresca of Leicester City ended up leaving his post and joining Chelsea, signing a 5-year deal with them, and he will be the head coach of Chelsea Football Club, leaving Leicester City at this moment in time managerless. Now, what if Mauricio Pochettino ended up going the other way and joining Leicester City? Of course, he was fired from Chelsea and is currently a free agent in the market looking for another job. Now, he has done fantastic jobs in the past with rebuilding Spurs, establishing them as a top 6 consistent contender. He's also done a very similar situation with Southampton, of course, having them stay in the Premier League for, I think it was like almost 10 years or around 10 years or something like that, along those lines. Don't fact check me, I might be wrong, but he helped establish them as a consistent Premier League club for a long time, and even after leaving, they were still a very good, club to go ahead and play with and manage and all that good stuff. So why can't he do the same thing with this current Leicester City side, who have been hit with a whole lot of financial issues and potentially, PSR fines and possibly points deductions in the upcoming season? So we will be managing to deal with all of that in this career mode challenge. Now, off the bat, if Pochettino is to come in, you need to be able to play like him. So it is a shameless plug moment. And I have gone ahead and obviously replicated the Pochettino tactics into my game already. And I will leave a link for you guys to go ahead and implement those tactics into your games. Of course, it is the Chelsea tactics, the most recent Chelsea tactics, but they will more or less still apply to the same situation players in their various different positions. So you can go ahead, implement those instructions, implement those tactics, learn how to play with those systems and tactics and styles of play, and you can have a fantastic Mauricio Pochettino system at your fingertips for this Leicester City side. And then a little, note in the video, people. We have started a Discord server, so if you are interested in everything football, I'm talking tactics, I'm talking conversations, I'm talking memes, I'm talking real life football, we will be discussing the Euros in great depth over the various different games on the Discord server. So if you have Discord and you'd like to join, the link is in the description down below. Go ahead, click it, join up, and I welcome you with open arms to the Brom Squad Discord server. Now on to what could be seen as a very underwhelming squad. Now, I do know that there are various players that Leicester are trying to get rid of in order to bring money into the club so that they don't have those financial issues, which we will also speak about fairly soon. But I have been reading up on what the current situation is with the Leicester City squad, and they are looking to get rid of either a Danny Ward or a Daniel Iverson. Now, Iverson was set to join Stoke City, but they've gone in another direction and they've signed another goalkeeper. So either or, you need to sell one of them. Whichever one you can get the most money for. I do think that Iverson has the better upside in terms of the amount of money you might be able to bring in over the likes of a Danny Ward, who you will still be using as a backup goalkeeper, because the likes of Mads Hermansen is quite a good shot-stopping, ball-playing goalkeeper, which is not exactly what Pochettino always requires from his goalkeepers, but he can be a nice addition to a Pochettino side and style of play. Now, onto the left-back department, we've got the likes of James Justin, Luke Thomas, and Christensen. Now, again, Luke Thomas as well as Christensen are set to possibly go ahead and leave the club. They will be looking to sell either a Luke Thomas or, a Victor Christensen, who they did end up buying like 2 years ago, but now he's set to leave. So it is up in the air. They are looking just to try and bring in as much money as possible. So whoever you can get rid of, for the most amount of money, go ahead and get rid of them and then keep the other. So whichever one seems to fit the system a bit better, you go ahead and keep the other. James Justin, we will speak about him, but he is more naturally a right back that can, be played as a left back, which we have seen Pochettino in the past. He doesn't mind if you are left-footed playing as a right back or right-footed playing as a left back. It doesn't matter to him, but we might want to change, depending on how things go for your career modes, you might want to change him back into a more natural right back player. Okay, then the next person we will talk about is Callum Doyle. He is set to stay at Leicester City, so you should go ahead and enter negotiations with Manchester City and Pep Guardiola and the board of directors there and try and secure a deal for the lowest amount of money possible, because Callum Doyle is set to, again, stay in real life. We are trying to keep a few realistic parameters here. at Leicester, and he can play as either a left-sided centre-back or a left-back, which is fan-damn-tastic. Onto your centre-backs, speaking of, we've got the likes of Connor Cody, Vestergaard, Harry Souttar, and Wout Faes, and then, of course, you've got this young man right here in Nelson. Now, I do know that Connor Cody has been linked with a few moves. I don't know if Leicester will want to move him on, especially the fact that they've just signed him, and it will be quite hard for you to sell him in your first season of the career mode, but the likes of Vestergaard in the final 12 months of his deal, they might want to get rid of him. I know Harry Souttar is set to leave, although he is dragging his heels a bit. He doesn't necessarily want to leave, but they are forcing him out the door. Linked with a move to Rangers, I'm pretty sure. But of course, Wout Faes, you do want to keep him in the side as long as possible. He is your best defender, and of course, he is only 25 years of age. Now, for Nelson, try and grow him, try and, make him a key figure in the side eventually. He is only a 63 overall, but he's 19, so he can possibly, grow, elevate. And if you don't use him in 2 or 3 seasons' time with Pochettino's system and style of play, sell him and you will be able to get a lot more money, obviously, because you've grown him and he's a much better player. Anyways, onto the right-back situation. Now, Ricardo Pereira has been a key figure since 2018 in the side. Of course, he has had his injury issues, but with the PSR, struggles and the financial mismanagement of the team over the last 3 years, spending around over 215 million or losing around 215 million pounds. You're only allowed to lose around 105 over a 3-year period. And, well, Leicester damn well lost double that and plus 5 million more. But anyways, you might have to go ahead and sell some of your best players in the side. Ricardo Pereira could be one of those players, or you could look to keep him and build the team with him going forward. Of course, he is only, he's in his late 20s. He's 29. So you might be able to get a lot of money for him off the bat. Or you go ahead and you keep him and you have to sell other players. But we will talk about the structuring of this career mode and the parameters and the rules that you should possibly go ahead and follow. Anyways, Hamza Chowdhury, a fantastic player, a youth academy player. So if you do sell him, remember, it's 100% profit shown on the books, which is really good. But again, if you go ahead and you sell Pereira, you might need a right back. And of course, Wormlington is not very good. 58 overall, last 12 months of his deal. Do you keep him? Do you sell him? If you can sell him, fair play. But if you can't, keep him and maybe use him as a rotational piece. But Hamza Chowdhury could be and prove to be a fantastic player as a rotational piece, either in the midfield, because of course he is a DM/CM that can play and be deployed as a right back. And of course, this is if you go ahead and sell the likes of Ricardo Pereira. Anyways, onto the midfield zones. We've got the likes of Harry Winks and Wilfred Ndidi, not to mention Boubacar Samara, who is set to stay at Leicester for the upcoming season in the Premier League. Of course, last season he was loaned out to Sevilla. We've recalled him from that loan and we've put him back into the squad. Now, this man right here, Wilfred Ndidi, a mainstay, one of the best players at the club currently, and he has been for the last 5 years or so. Set to his deal in real life is set to expire literally at the time of recording this at the end of this month, which is in what month are we in? June. We're in June, and he is set to possibly be linked with a move to Everton. Now, again, you want to try and sell some of your best players in the side. So if Ndidi is set to leave, depending on what time you're watching this and how long, okay, it doesn't matter. If he has left in real life whilst you're watching this, go ahead and sell him. If he hasn't and he's, extended and stayed, because he is, up in the air whether he wants to come or go, or either way. If he's staying, re-sign him. If he's going, sell him and get some money back into the club for the likes of Wilfred Ndidi. I do think you've got some really good, adequate replacements. We will talk about a few transfers later on. But Harry Winks as well as Boubacar Samara are fantastic players to go ahead and build the midfield around, at least for your first season. We've got a few players here like Baybrook, who could again be used as a good rotational piece. And of course, using the youth is something that Mauricio Pochettino has been able to do and develop in the past, whether it was at Southampton, PSG, Spurs, let's not forget Spurs. So he has a knack for developing these good young talents and just having them as rotational pieces, if not, sell them on and make some money from them. Now, we've got the likes of Kenan Dewsbury-Hall, probably the star of the side, and I do think that if Pochettino had to, find himself in this Leicester City situation, he would look to try and keep Dewsbury-Hall at all costs, looking to make the team function around the player himself. Now, if essentially you are going to be playing a 4-2-3-1 system, so you would need and require a key number 10 contributor. Now, I think that this would be the likes of Dewsbury Hall looking to function in that number 10 role, drifting all over the place, looking to facilitate offensive movements and have the team, run through him and have the offense, ticking over. So I would look to keep him and possibly go ahead and sell the likes of a Ricardo Pereira as well as a Wilfred Ndidi, and make sure that you might be able to, sustain your future with the young Englishman. And of course, he is a youth player. So either way, if you need to at least try and sell at least 2 out of the 3. So it's going to be a tough decision, but Leicester City find themselves in a tough situation. So, hard decisions need to be made. Anyways, progressing on now to our wider players. Now, Mark Albrighton has officially left the club. So I was waiting to record the video before I went ahead and released him. His contract expired. He's finished. He's looking for another club, which is fan-damn-tastic. And of course, our wider players, the likes of Mavididi, again, another young player that I would say do not sell. Well, you can't really sell him in the first season because he's just joined, but a fantastic player to go ahead and try and build the team around, alongside possibly a Dewsbury Hall and other players that you might look to bring in the door. Now, the other player that I was waiting to record this video before I released him was the man Yunus Akgun. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I might be incorrect, but nonetheless, he is set to, not extend at Leicester. He is set to go back to Galatasaray, but he does wish the club, a whole host of good wishes and hopes that they don't get relegated next season. So he is set to go back. Now, you do have some decent younger wingers that could come in and really function and be good rotational pieces. McAteer is definitely one of them. And what I will also say is you should convert the wingers into left and right midfielders depending on how you are wanting to play. Now, another winger that is out or that is on loan currently at Leicester but is set to extend a stay with a permanent move is this man right here. Fatawu, I think. I'm not sure. I think though. But you need to jump into negotiations, negotiate with the likes of Ruben Amorim and Sporting, and try and secure yourself one of the lowest possible financially lessened deals, so you can secure the young 19-year-old Ghanaian right winger to secure his future as that right wing for the career mode, because he is staying in real life. And then we've got our strikers. We've got the likes of Jamie Vardy, fantastic player, is set to extend at Leicester for next season, I think, and maybe even another season, depending on how the contract is structured. So do not get rid of the legend himself. But in terms of Patson Daka, now I know if you are a Leicester City fan, you want this man out your club. He's taking a lot of wages. He's not producing on the field. He hasn't had the best time at Leicester since joining from, I think it was Salzburg. But hear me out. Financially stricken reasons mean you can't really get rid of him because you've got the likes of Tom Cannon as the official backup then. I mean, if you want, go ahead, develop the young man and then sell Daka potentially for around 5 million or so and recoup that money and reinvest it back into the side. But Daka is a really good player in FC24. I mean, he really, really is. So go ahead, use him at least for the first season and then sell him in the second season. But it is up to you at the end of the day. You need to make these hard, tough decisions to make sure that Leicester City don't, get hit with crazy fines or points deductions or anything of the sort. Pochettino needs to come in, restructure the team, restructure the finances, and help this side not get relegated next season, as well as, not get, these massive financial fines. Now, of course, you do need to go ahead and use your scouting system. Leicester have one of the better scouting systems in the English Premier League to your advantage. You need to go ahead and find these young gems that might be able to be brought in for low amounts of money and then sold on at later stages for large amounts of money, either to your Man Uniteds or your Arsenals or your Manchester Cities. Either way, you need to go ahead and secure, various players in various different positions. Now, I've gone ahead and highlighted four positions that you should go ahead and try and find various players in. The goalkeeper, the centre-back, the defensive midfielder, and the attacking midfielder, in case you go ahead and sell one of those key players. Now, they all need to be between the age of 20 and 30. That's more or less the age range that Leicester City tend to sign their players in. The contract length doesn't matter too much, but they need to be first-team quality. You are trying to add a bit of quality to try and help sustain a Premier League, survival for at least the second or third season. So they need to be first-team quality at the very least, and they need to, try and elevate the side with having as little financial impact as possible, if that makes sense. And then the other two sets of instructions I have gone for is they need to be a first-team prospect, 16 to 22 years of age. The contract length, again, doesn't matter too much. This is something that Leicester have been very good at in the past, signing the likes of Wilfred Ndidi at a very young age, Yuri Tielemans being another, James Maddison being another, mainly from the Championship and various other, leagues in the world. But, some really good prospects. And maybe that might not be achievable in your first season. But Pochettino has shown that he can rely on the scouts to bring in players and he can help develop them. So whether it's season 2 or 3, and you're just literally trying to find the best players to try and help you survive for the first season, that could be up to you. But you do need to go ahead and try and find these, superstars of tomorrow. And then the last, little bit of instructions that you should set for your scouts is the free agent potential market. The contract length does need to be within his final year, and 22 to 30 is the best age range to go for. You might be able to find a 31 or 32-year-old at some point, but you are looking for players that can help you for the now as well as, in 3 or 4 seasons' time. So in the final 12 months of their deals does essentially mean that they will be set at a cut price, and you might be able to find some really good transfer market deals that can help Leicester City, again, achieve survival or effectively, elevate and maybe get a mid-table finish at the end of the season. Okay, so now we are going to take a look at the shortlist of potential players that you might want to bring in. Now, we'll start off with a favorite of mine, Atabulu. He is a sensational signing to make in career mode, but he might be a bit expensive at around, I think, like £4-5 million, although that doesn't seem too bad, especially with the fact that he can grow to well over 80. Another goalkeeper, or another 2 goalkeepers, I should say, is Muric as well as Melier. Also fairly young, very good at playing out from the back. It might effectively fit into that Pochettino system where they are tall, they are physical, they can claim those aerial balls. But again, it can add to the fact that you will be incorporating a ball-playing goalkeeper to Pochettino's side and his style of play. Of course, Hugo Lloris at Spurs was a fantastic ball-playing goalkeeper, and Pochettino at times did expect him to be able to sweep up behind, the defense and do all that. So you might want to go ahead and sign a player like an Atabulu, a Melier, or even a Muric for your side. Now, I've gone ahead and put the likes of Jeremy Ngakia on the shortlist in case you go ahead and sell the likes of Ricardo Pereira. He could be a fantastic cheap signing, is in the final 12 months of his deal. He is also 22. So if you go ahead and you convert James Justin into a right back, or you leave him as a left back and you have the likes of Ngakia as well as Hamza Chowdhury as your right backs, I don't think it would be a bad, idea or situation. Now, they are linked with a move for David Hanko from the likes of Feyenoord, but he would be absolutely expensive, and I don't know, maybe in real life they can secure a very cheap deal for him or structure the payments, but in FC24 you can't really do that. So he goes for around, I think it's like 30 to 40 million pounds, which is way above your price range and budget. But I have decided to put him in the list just in case you guys somehow find around 40 million or so on top of your original budgets. But he is a player that they are looking at in real life. So if you are looking to go down the realistic route, go ahead and sign him up. He can play as a left back or a centre back. He's got some really good play styles that, again, would suit Pochettino's style of play. Power header, long ball pass, so Pochettino does like his centre backs being able to play out from the back, spray those balls in behind, or play those line-breaking passes, as well as jockey and anticipate. He would be a fantastic signing. He's only 25, approaching the prime of his career. Can definitely add a new element and level to this Leicester City side. Now, a great player that I would go ahead and sign, and I think you can get him for less than £10 million, is this man right here, Anel Hamdozic. Smash the like button because I pronounced that correctly. I know I did. Anyways, the play styles are intercept as well as slide tackle. He is right-footed, so maybe you can work up a partnership between him and Wout Faes, either as one being the left-footed or the left-sided centre-back and the other being the right. But I do think that he could be a fantastic signing to go ahead and make, along with the likes of Alfie Doughty. Now, this does depend on where you do move the likes of James Justin, because Doughty is linked with moves to Premier League sides. He has had a very good season for Luton in the Premier League, getting, I don't know how many assists, but it was more than 5. It was more than 5 playing as a left wing back / left back at times. So you can get him for around £3 to £5 million, depending on when you have the deal done and how well he's playing in the preseason and all that good stuff. But he would be also a very good signing. And like I say, you either go ahead and get an Alfie Doughty or you go ahead and get a Jeremy Ngakia. Now, again, it does depend on also where you move and shift the likes of James Justin, all that good stuff. Now, approaching the midfield areas. Hayden Hackney had a fantastic season with the likes of Middlesbrough, is linked with moves all over the place, and he does have some fantastic, ball-playing, press resistance, things that can definitely add to the side, especially if you go ahead and lose the likes of a Wilfred Ndidi. He's got the long ball pass, slide tackle, and he is press proven. Had a fantastic season with Michael Carrick's side. Now, another player that you could go ahead and sign is the likes of Ben Sheaf. I've read a report the other day that he is linked with a move to Man United. Now, if that is the case, welcome. But what? That's madness. But anyways, Ben Sheaf could be a fantastic signing for Leicester City in the Premier League, just to help them secure that's DM position. Just add a bit more to the bench in terms of the depth that they have in that current position. And then finally, we've got the likes of Sean Longstaff, and he can either play as a DM or potentially as an attacking midfielder, and is linked with a £15 million move from Newcastle to the likes of Leicester City. Now, that could be a great deal to go ahead and execute if you are looking for those realistic transfers that you can go ahead and incorporate into your career mode. Now, he does have the high work rate, high defensive work rate as well, which is great. He's 6'2", so this does lend me to believe that he could be a very solid central defensive midfielder. And then a player that I would go ahead and sign for the attacking midfielder role would be the likes of Josh Brownhill, who is in the final 12 months of his deal with the likes of Burton, who have just been relegated. So he might be looking for a move to another club that's already in the Premier League. I think he is good enough to play as at the very least, a bench option for a team like Leicester City, as well as Gustavo Harmer, who also had a very good, underrated season with the likes of Sheffield United. And he also does have a few really good play styles. Incisive pass, long ball, flair, Travella, and of course he is also press proven. He can play either as an attacking midfielder or as a DM, or if you want to just leave him as a central midfielder, I would more so look to play him like slightly high up the field, but that's my opinion. That's just what I would do. But again, those are two really good options. I think Harmer would be quite hard to go ahead and get in the first season because he's just signed for, Sheffield United, so it's quite hard. But he would be a great signing for at least a season 2 or maybe even a season 3, depending on where you are at that time. Now, out wide to our wingers. We've got the likes of Jack Clark from Sunderland, as well as Somerville. Now, Somerville is set to leave the likes of, Leeds United. Now, they are in financial issues of their own, so maybe, bringing in Somerville for a cut price could be the option. He can play on the left or the right, which is fan-damn-tastic. That's exactly what you will be looking for, along with the likes of the young Jack Clark. Now, up front, we've got the likes of Eddie Nketiah, which would be very hard to go ahead and sign. Slightly unrealistic, but a great move nonetheless, and he has been linked in the past with a move to Leicester City. Now, I don't think Leicester would cough up around 30 million for the man himself, because that's a lot of money. That is absurd amounts of money. That's madness. That's Kelechi Iheanacho wasted money. But they could be able to secure either a loan with an option to buy at a later date, or you could go ahead and try and execute a really cheap deal for the young man. And then finally, the last two strikers that I would put on this list is Piero from also Leeds United, who are struggling for money and all that good stuff, as well as Elijah Adebayo. Both of them do offer slightly different elements to the game and how Pochettino might want to set up with the various different strikers, but Adebayo does offer a good solid target man player. And we have seen that Pochettino with Jackson, Pochettino with Harry Kane, he does like having a bit more physicality up front in certain moments. So if Jamie Vardy cannot provide that, maybe an Elijah Adebayo could do that, potentially, as well as the likes of Joel Perreault, who can also drop a bit deeper, drop into the midfield, and maybe overload those central zones. Now onto your scouting network, finding the superstars of tomorrow. Now, for the first season at least, I would go ahead and say only use the scout that you get given and scout in England, because you are still trying to, factor in those financial difficulties and issues and restraints. So maybe in the future, in season 2 or 3 or 4, you can then go ahead and broaden your scouting network. Maybe go ahead and scout in South America, Asia, even other countries in Europe as well. Just to go ahead and start off with the England base, because naturally Leicester are in England and they do naturally scout in England. So that will just save you a little bit of money off the bat. Now, taking a look at the financial aspects of this career mode, essentially you start off with around £55 million, which is a lot of money, especially for a team from the Championship. So that is a lot of money to go ahead and start off with. But I would advise that you don't spend any of it. I think you need to sell to buy, and that is the best way to incorporate those realistic parameters of what Leicester City will be doing in real life, especially with the fact that Pochettino will come in. They will look to have him, try and save as much money as possible. So you do start off with around 55 million. Don't spend a lot of it. Off the bat, go ahead and buy Callum Doyle. Go ahead and buy the right winger, and make sure that you can look to recoup some of that money with various different player sales. Now, essentially, they have lost around 215 million pounds over the last 3 years. And last season, they lost around 90 million pounds. And essentially, over a 3-year period, you are only allowed to lose around 105 million. So they have lost a lot of money over like the last 3 or 4 years, which is, it's very worrying. And it's exactly why the likes of the Premier League are looking to fine and dock points from Leicester City, because they don't understand exactly why. Now, Leicester have come out and said, we've lost so much money because the prize money from finishing 8th was a lot less than what it was in previous years, and we were relying on that money. So the profit and sustainability rules, there are quite a few grey areas that I think are very unfair, and we have seen, you know, countless other clubs be fined and issued, you know, court cases and all that stuff. So you do need to be a bit wary of the financial situations. Yes, you have 55 million, but we are trying to replicate realistic rules for this career mode, and that's why it is a fantastic challenge for you guys to go ahead and undertake. So in order for this career mode to be an actual challenge, there are a few parameters that you do need to stick to in order to make it a success. And that is, you need to sell at least 2 out of the 3 of Wilfred Ndidi, Dewsbury Hall, or the likes of Ricardo Pereira. You would also need to incorporate at least 2 youth players into your first team. Another element that you will have to incorporate is you would have to have at least 50 million pounds in your budget at the end of the season once everything's said and done. And that is very hard because essentially you start off with around 5 million pounds. You do have to survive relegation. It is an absolute must. Otherwise, the challenge is an absolute failure. And then finally, you would have to go ahead and re-sign players like Callum Doyle as well as Fatawu for Leicester City. Help Mauricio Pochettino rebuild Leicester City for this challenge. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Let me know down below if you would like to see more videos like this, and we will go from there. Anyways, until the next one, until the next time, I hope you guys have a fantastic damn day, and I'm out of here.